Hey, happy Friday. Welcome aboard, everybody. It is that time of the week again. I'm Christopher Dahl here, Space Art by Christopher Dahl Studios. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining on a Friday. Who we got here? Dave Fletch. Hey, greetings. How you doing, Dave? Greetings. Good to see you. Glad to have you all on board. We're going to have a nice chill afternoon here in the, coming to you from the American Midwest. Yes, rural America, rural western, northwestern Pennsylvania. Yes, having a good time. We get snow coming through that is immediately followed by the craziest rain and then 70-degree weather. So we're not actually having weather. It feels like malaria. It's a good time. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Houdini Bob's here. Greetings. How you doing? Welcome aboard. I keep shifting little things. I'm kind of at a weird cockeyed angle here. I could probably just do that. There we go. Everything's in motion. Hey, good to see you. We are going to be doing some painting today. Thank you. And yeah, there's more cat videos showing up. I know if you've been following along, there might be a few more of those. Rhonda, hey, hello, Rhonda. How you doing today? Greetings. I don't have your mug this week. I've got our coffee this week is in the standard, substandard radioactive materials from formerly from United Nuclear. Yay. Yes, weather apocalypse. It is indeed. It is indeed. We don't know from one minute to the next what's going to happen. But very happy. We had a nice break in the weather, though. And the reason why that's kind of cool for me, I kind of feel like we get closed in after the winters here. We have our sunroom out back, which is a 3-season room. And I am going to take... I'm working on some big oil paintings, right? I'm working on some paintings. Some of you on Patreon have seen them off stream, the progress on some of them. And as much as it's nice to have a place down here to paint like this, I kind of want to get up into that sunroom because I don't know, it's just sort of ambiance, painting in the light, that sort of thing. I'm gonna try it out. We have a couple of places that'd be really good for an alternate painting setup where it's just sort of the oil painting setup. Now I have to watch out for the cats, right? I always have to watch out for the damn cats because we have a lot of them in here. But I think we have an opportunity. There's one out there, and I think if you followed along, I've done live streams from in and around the sunroom in the back of the house. We'll see. But we did clear it out 2 days ago. Or was it yesterday? No, it was yesterday. Gosh, it was a long day. It's so funny. So, yeah, so I'm going to move a couple of those back there. Our forecast shows we get one day of spring, and that's back to early summer, temps in the mid-80s. Wow, it's funny. After last week's live stream, when you and folks from the West Coast were like, 100 degrees. I'm like, oh, God. Oh, early. Yeah, so it does impact things. I do find that working kind of in and around the exposure to the outdoors is pleasant for my state of mind, and I never thought that was the case. I thought sealed basement, great, but as it turns out, I find myself working facing towards the. I'm just going to turn the camera. It's gonna hate it, but there's my son. Oh, it's because it's actually. Let me just kick the camera. Hang on a second here. Let me go ahead and. I'm going to kick the exposure back to automatic. There we go. So, I mean, this isn't stellar, right? This isn't like that great, but it is actually outdoors. Yeah, neighbor's house. Yeah, great. So anyhow, so now anyone stalking me can see that my neighbor's house is blue. There we go. Now there we are. No stalkers, right? There we go. Yeah. So I find that I face the windows more often than not. Here, let me move this font back here. No crazy need to see the ceiling or anything. But yeah, so yeah, I'll bring the cameras around. It's actually been fun. The cat stuff, though. Thank you for following along. For those of you that have followed along and watched the cat things, I know that, especially for those people follow me on YouTube, it's a space art experience, and yet there's cats. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to keep it. I'm gonna keep them together for a while. It's an airlock. Yes, exactly. It's truly the airlock. It's the place where I can send people out the door. Rod says we're getting high 70s, a tornado. Oh, that's right. You got the tornado warnings, thunderstorms, and then drops to 30s and snow all in the same day. We got the tail end of your tornadoes. I'm certain of it. Here, let me one more adjustment on my. These webcams that I'm using aren't always the easiest to. There we go. That's what I wanted. There we are. But yeah, so as you can see, it's a little it's pleasant in here, and I have plenty of light and everything. But I don't know, something about the sunlight, daytime helps a lot. Which is weird. I never expected to be that kind of person. The person that would enjoy the outdoors experience. But along with all of the landscapes and things, it seems to work out well. Anyhow, thanks for joining, and welcome back this week. We're gonna do another little painting. We're gonna do a little oil painting again because we're just into oils. And Rhonda, congratulations on jumping into oils, the water mixing oils. I've heard nothing but good things, so that is very cool. I have one that it was one of. I think it wasn't Grumbacher, and it isn't this one. But it's funny, yeah. One of the people I bought a pile of my oil paints from, who was getting out of it, had exactly one oil mixable paint. So I haven't really used it, but beautiful here in Montana, but sunny. Oh my gosh, Montana! I think I said it last week. I'm feeling the need for a road trip. But yes, especially through the foothills. That's fantastic. Haven't been through in a while. We'll see if this is going to happen. I'm in no danger of having a road trip anytime soon, unfortunately. So it's going to be a little challenge. I managed to paint 5 balls. Perfect. Oh no, that's it's wild. The thing that throws me about oil paint is just it's sort of slippery. It's a different paint, right? And that for someone like me, who I did a lot of acrylic painting, it takes a little bit to kind of get the hang of. And the relationship between what's wet, what's dry, how to manage that is kind of a completely different ballgame. But I like the effects, which is why I'm gonna be working with it again today. We're gonna switch on over to I have a very curious. I have a 5x7. This is it's not a very big painting. We're gonna do it. It may be it. We're gonna just do a small painting today, basically. But it's gonna be fun. So this is a canvas on a card, right? You've seen these before, right? These are. Yeah, it's even Artist Loft. Look at that. So I had a bunch of these for a while, and this one, as it turns out. As it turns out, this one, try to see if I can get this in here, was previously started by one of my daughters, and I have no idea what. I think it's supposed to go this way. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be this way. It was the beginnings of a self-portrait for an art class, and I think it was. I'm not going to identify the daughter because I think I know who it was. Memory serves that she'll come back into me later. Anyway, this was never intended to be a finished painting. Even at the time, they were just like, I'm starting over here. I don't want to use this card anymore. So I've had this in the slush pile for a while. So that's going to be our surface. And as to the paints, yeah, I'm going to be I'm going to start by getting a palette together. So we'll go ahead and do that. And while I'll do that, I'll kind of, what are we going to paint? Well, so coming back to our space and sci-fi stuff a little bit, we're returning to a world of fire. Dune. I have been, let me just kind of, if I hold this up too hard, I'm going to lose it. I actually own a copy of the Dune Encyclopedia. It's upstairs. It's upstairs next to the other books that I'm reading right now. And I've always loved this cover. I think that this cover art might have been done also by Vince DeFate, but I've not confirmed it. Vincent DeFate, one of my I love the guy's work. Did a lot of book covers, including a series of the original Dune hardcover paperback books, the paperback book series that was in this color scheme. I feel like maybe it is, and I hate to say it, I cruised through my copy of the book. There is no notation of who did the cover art, and I cannot see, even on my copy of the book, any indication of the artist. I'm going with Vince DeFate. It looks like it. Anyway, I like this color scheme for a scene of Arrakis. This is obviously tall for the book. I'm going to do it kind of in this style right here. So not a lot of blues. Hey, not a lot of blues. But there's a couple of details I want to see if I can capture. Arrakis from Dune has a couple of moons. I'm going to see if I can get those in here. I'm going to emulate this scene, right? I'm copying. Well, it'll be its own version. But there's a couple of things I wanted to mess with here. So that's what we're going to paint. And I'm kind of going to do it. I won't reference this image too much. I just wanted to bring it up so I can show everyone here first. But I've been in a Dune sort of mood. Here we go. All right, so boom. Let's grab some paint here, shall we? All right, today to start things off, I will again be using my trusty palette, which has some paint stuck on it. There we go. It is a piece of glass. Yeah, warm and fuzzy. Exactly, a little warm and fuzzy. I saw on Twitter, Starfleet Academy has been canceled after season 2. It's true. Which is it is to be unfortunate. And a general rule, everybody, just so you know, because I know that when we talk about shows we like, shows we don't like, I do this all the time. If I say I do like or don't like something, I always feel like I'm kind of stepping on someone's toes. I do not mind if you like or dislike a show, and even for whatever reason you dislike or dislike a show, that's cool. So I'm not gonna smack down anybody who's gonna say like or dislike anything. And the Dune movies are one that have been just slightly controversial. Starfleet Academy, way controversial, artificially so, unfortunately. So I will say this about it. I watched I think I watched the first 8 episodes of season 1 before we let our Paramount Plus membership lapse, which we did because I just don't have the money. I don't have the money to pay Paramount Plus, for one thing, and even if I did have the money right now, I have contentious issues with them. Anyway, yeah, it's unfortunate. What I saw of Starfleet Academy, I mean, it was a decent show. Stephanie and I watched it, and we both looked at it and went, well, there's plot holes in it that are annoying to us. Neither of us were annoyed that it was directed at younger audiences. Neither of us were annoyed really that it was like, whoa, I don't care if it's woke, doesn't bother me. None of that does. I actually kind of liked some of the characters. I felt that the later episodes, not the pilot was like the weakest one, and it's the one most people will watch. And I had to talk myself through it to see the next episode, because I had a lesson in watching shows where I felt like, okay, maybe I didn't give a show a fair shake. The new Battlestar Galactica. The 2003 Battlestar Galactica. And while I ramble, I'm going to get some paint on here. Just a touch of our blue. I need blue. Unfortunately, it won't be appearing too much. That's why I don't need much of it. Anyway, so when the 2003 revised Galactica came out, and I'm going to put gloves on for this, the miniseries didn't sell me on it. I thought it was a very competent miniseries, but I wasn't sure if I would watch too much of it. I was kind of like, well, and after having watched Deep Space Nine, you see a couple of things that were clearly brought over as elements that fed into Galactica. I can go into that later. The Wayun and the Vorta clones is where I'm going with that. Anyway, so you see things that you're like, okay, well, they did this in Star Trek. I don't know. We'll see. But I liked what they did with the show, and it didn't hook me the way the very first episode of the Galactica season 1 did, and it's an episode called 33. I'll put my white over here because that's just the way I am. I'm gonna put my white over here. The episode 33 is the name of it. Was, I thought, some of the best science fiction television in a long time. It was a good episode. It was a very good episode. Got my attention. Boom, and that's eventually what did it for me. So, with regards to something like Starfleet Academy, I thought, all right, I'm going to go in the same thing. I see that there's issues, and I see that there's people that are like, oh, they don't want it, and I have my own take on that. That has very little to do with what most people say they don't dislike about the show. And so I gave it a shot. And, like Galactica, pilot episode didn't do it for me. But I thought, all right, I adore Holly Hunter. I wanted to see Tig Notaro, and she wasn't really much in the very first episode. It was fun seeing some of the callbacks from, the Doctor, emergency medical hologram, and all of that. But yeah, again, it wasn't until they kind of got into the first episode and they started fleshing out some characters and stuff, and it was fun. It was okay. It was all right. It was not my choice. If you came to me and said, this is what we're going to do for a new Star Trek show, I'd be like, well, really, I'd be saying, going all the way back to Berman and Braga and Michael Piller years, and even before that to basically around the Star Trek 4 through 6 movie era, Harv Bennett suggested a Starfleet Academy show way back in the day. I just don't think it was really... It doesn't appeal to me, but then again, giving a show a chance. I didn't think a Star Trek show about a space station would be that good or popular, and it was both. So Deep Space Nine. So there we go. I remain open to it, and that's just my thing. There we go. Yep. So I watched it, and it was like, I'm curious to see where they go with it. I kind of, I felt like with the same thing with the Star Trek Picard series. The best parts about it and the things I would be looking forward to were probably the things that nobody expected, or they should have expected. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, it's unfortunate. And it looks like we're not going to really have much Star Trek hanging out for the next couple of years. Yeah, that's fine. Give it a rest, if that's the case. Yeah. I am very much looking forward to the remainder of Starfleet Academy. Deep Space Nine was very good. I just finished watching the whole run of Deep Space Nine, so it's pretty funny. I'm gonna set my paints over here, and it's a show that it did. That's another show that kind of like, hey, I found myself watching it regularly, and I was sad when it was over with. There's my that's the way I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, DS9 was the best. I like DS9 a lot. I really do. In fact, I'm kind of sad about it being over with. Honestly, it's very annoying. I just got done watching a show I really liked and it's over. Wah. And I don't know what I'm going to put on next, honestly, because it all depends on moods and things. But yeah, I'm of a. I'm going to pull this back just a touch. There we go. I'm of a generation that remembers two different periods of our lives when there was no Star Trek on and there was no indication there would be any Star Trek on. Voyager. Yeah. I mean, high expectations. Well, there was a whole, okay, so, in spite of everyone's best efforts, I feel like the Berman Braga era of Star Trek shows had its ups and downs, and you see a lot of the downs, unfortunately, in shows like Voyager and Enterprise. Wasn't a fan of the final episode of Deep Space Nine. Hey, Mediocre, how you doing today? Good to see you. You weren't a fan of the final episode, especially with the Cisco being in the void. Yeah, I agree. To me, honestly, that felt kind of rushed. Honestly, I'm not so fond of it either. And then I get to the point of, well, what would I have done, right? If I were in their shoes, what would I have done? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm going to use a little bit of my solvent-free fluid on this, which is it's like a Galkid. This is an additive that you use to thin out your paints. For those of you that don't do a lot of oil painting, it's often known, it's sold as Liquin by Winsor Newton, and a few others have a similar one. This one differs in that it doesn't have turpentine or mineral spirits embedded in it, so you don't get the fumes, which is really great. But you do get the thinning ability, and it speeds up the drying time a bit. Boom. Dave Fletcher says we need a good Cylon War series with early Adama and old school Cylons. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, what was the? Didn't they do a? They tried that, right? There was a, what the heck was it called? It was like only a 6-episode run of something. It was supposed to be the young Adama, old Galactica. I think that's a cool era that could be explored. I agree. Not the best finale, but probably not the worst. I did sort of like that it wasn't a completely happily ever after. Right. Some of the things about the finale, the way it worked, I liked how poor Jake Sisko. Oh my God, Jake Sisko, who's easily one of my favorite characters of the show. I mean, the Siskos, both of them. I love and adore their relationship and their journey, and that Jake is becoming a writer out at the end of it. I mean, that's pretty poignant. But I didn't just watch the rest of the show. I also watched the what we left behind documentary, which was really cool. I think I'm gonna get. Since it's a smaller canvas. I'm gonna see what size brush I need for this. Let's find out here. Let's go with a. Ooh, I could go with that. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Oh, it's got green in it. Oh no, did I? There we are. I have a brush here. I keep finding brushes that I didn't properly clean, and this is one of them. And there's no way I'm going to use this one because it's got green paint on it. That's it. Cylon Blood and Chrome. Thank you, Mediocre. I couldn't remember the name of it. So, yeah, thank you. Blood and Chrome. Yeah, that's short. Really hooked me. The Cylon testing on humans was intense. Yeah. I think that would be a really cool, so alternately, a similar story, right? Like, because really Galactica itself, it just kind of came out of the blue, right? I mean, it was it was clearly the original Galactica we are talking about here. I love that something like that can just sort of show up and be something completely different and standoffish, but with that same feel. So I would even vote for, hey, we're doing kind of a sci-fi show. What's the other one that kind of came out and then didn't show up for long? And Space Above and Beyond. Yeah, something like that would be kind of fun. I watched that too. Explains a lot and said how DS9 wasn't well received. There we go. That's another thing about, okay, why I'm reluctant to jump on I hate Starfleet Academy bandwagon. Okay, so I can be cynical about the production, right? I could be cynical about their who they're targeting and how they're targeting it. But the reality is, it all depends on how the show comes off, right? And Deep Space Nine was not well received when it first came out. I remember that very well. In fact, for that matter, Star Trek The Next Generation was definitely, I mean, even fans, even hardcore Star Trek fans, this one included, was kind of giving them a side eye here, going, counter and Farpoint. All right. It's weird. All right, let's see what the next episode is. The Naked Now, which is a retelling of one of the old Star Trek shows, almost verbatim. Oh, man. Oh, it was... It was rough. So it was rough going. But yet both of them, TNG and DS9, have ended up, obviously, being well loved. So there's always a chance that a show like Starfleet Academy will surprise you. And I always want to leave that open. Sirach is wonderful. He really is, yes. In fact, again, spoiler alert, Sirach has a guest appearance in Starfleet Academy, and it was great. It was so cool. I was just like, oh my god, I love it. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, let's use this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use this brush first. Okay, there we go. So be careful. Early TNG was rough, even for the late 80s. It was. So that's my take on it. All right. But again, if you really hated it, I get it. I get it. I feel your pain, and that's fine. And I'm not going to hold it against you. Yeah, if you go back and watch TNG episode 1 after season 5, doesn't look the same series. Half of the fun for me coming back to a TV show and rewatching it again is, I've seen it enough times where I know the flavor of the show, and the first episodes are always kind of like, whoa, hey, hold on, that's shocking. Although I don't think any of them gripped me quite as much as the opening of Deep Space Nine. The moment that Jake and his dad Benjamin Sisko see Deep Space Nine on their way there, after the whole what happened to them during Wolf 359 sequence. I think that's really, really cool. All right, let me get some color down here. I would like a little bit of this yellow, and see if I can get going on this painting. Here we go. I'm gonna grab a little bit of my titanium white here, and I kind of want a good background color. The Halo series is pretty good as well. I haven't seen that yet. I've heard the Halo series is pretty good. Okay, so shows I don't like. In terms of science fiction shows, this one will surprise people. I am not fond of Space. Not Space Above and Beyond. I like Space Above and Beyond. Yes, Cisco not suck on Picard. Yeah. For All Mankind over on the Apple Network. Not a fan, which is weird because I know a lot of people just absolutely love it. And a lot of people worked on it who I absolutely respect. The Akutas we're working on is fantastic, or are. Mediocre says, I'm part of Interfleet Broadcasting. They asked me to make props for a fan film called The Stranded Warrior, based on the Red Eye eps of Battlestar Galactica. Oh, it'll show how the pilot got on the planet. Oh, I love that. Oh, Mediocre, that's so cool. You get to do... are you going to, like, reimagine old school colonial props? Because that happened... Yeah, that happened before the events of the show. Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, that's really cool. All right, I'm going to get some paint down here. I want the yellow to see just kind of how much I'm going to need to cover this green. Obviously, I'm going to be fighting with this underpainting here, so I kind of need a good base, and this yellow is going to do it. I'll need a lot more than that. The yellow that I'm using, and a little bit of this white, and I'm also going to use a touch of my raw sienna in this, just to get a different color. But yeah, For All Mankind, I don't know. There's a what is it about that show that drives me nuts? It has cool space stuff, right? But yet most of it occurs in a dingy bar whining about drama I just don't care about. And that's my, that's my take. I'm not, yeah. If you like the show, I'm cool with it. You're welcome to like it. Yeah. All right. This is kind of fun. I haven't painted on these panels in a long time, so I'm kind of feeling like this is maybe a good thing for me to do a lot of these. Yay! All right, so we are a half hour into my Friday, and I'm finally getting my paint down. There we go. It's not like a Bob Ross show where he just starts right in and goes, is it? So yeah, the other thing I'm trying to do with these paintings is I'm trying to modulate. Yeah, I'm trying to manage how much of this I put out, because I'm finding that I'm using way too much of my paint and touching it out. It's already done. Oh, okay, cool. I'll let you know when it's released to the public. That's cool. That is so cool. Hey, it looks like I'm probably... I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to Wonderfest this year, Mediocre. I am very, very sorry, but the funds just aren't there. It ain't happening. I regret that I will not be able to see you and everybody else there this year. So I meant to mention that the last couple of weeks here. I am in a point where I'm not quite yet able to do the cool things I had hoped to be able to do once we did the move. So, but, that's it. Life goes on. We will onwards and upwards. I'm going to grab a little bit more of my yellow and my white here. Let's see if I can get some in this. It's just not... My brush is not happy. There we go. You would like to see them? Yeah, absolutely. When you get them, Mediocre, drop us a link, and I'll make sure we get it in our Discord. Which, by the way, at the very beginning of our chat, I do have a link to our Discord if you want to catch up and see what's going on with all of us here and the crew. there you go. The latest and greatest news can be there at your disposal. All right, I'm just going to use the rest of this up to just get a layer of paint on here, because I think it's all going to react to this yellow one way or the other anyway. And maybe I don't think I'm introducing a problem to this, but I did want to get the paint down. There we go. All righty. I have so many unfinished paintings going on right now, folks. It's not even funny. Just typically happens, right? I've got studies going. I've got some in progress, and you know, they're just not there yet. Okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna go with that, and moving the microphone, moving the mic. And as usual as well, folks, please let me know if the sound gets weird. So far, it's been holding up pretty well. My poor microphone. It's yeah, the rubber bands holding it up are in dastardly they're in dastardly shape, unfortunately. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna throw some more white in here because we're gonna need this in the middle there. See if we can't get some coverage. I shouldn't be throwing straight white in, but it's gonna mix with the yellow, and I don't expect it to stay that white. I just want to get this on in here. All right. Now get that out of the way. I found some of my some of my auto paper towels here, the standard blue kind. So I'm going with those right now. I feel like one way or the other, you're going to be stuck with some kind of paper towel in this process. It just that just makes it easier one way or the other. All right, let's see if I got a little scrubby brush and see if this is gonna. At this point, I don't think this is gonna do much. Yeah, just gonna kind of leave some traces on there, and that's not what I wanted it to do. All right. Now I get to start playing. I'm gonna try to see what happens when we get some orange in here. And the orange and the white are not happy together, but that's okay. I just want to lay in our scene a little bit. It'll be really, like I said, it's going to be very curious to see how this is going to work doing an underpainting in yellow. But most of these are pretty bright. So we'll see how it goes. I'm actually going to move that out of my way. I have a long-handled brush that I'm trying to use here, which is really silly. And as you can see, there's actually a lot of brush stroke streaks going on here, so that's not as fun. Alrighty. I get a little lost in the woods when it comes to this, so pardon me if my brain goes a little. Oh, that's going to be a better one. Yeah, I got a little one here. Let me see if I can't. There we go. Wanted some ability to throw this on down here. Yeah, it's pulling the paint up, so I'm seeing the green underneath, and that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Bum, bum. But yeah, I am not, like, if this is acrylic, I would be approaching this in a completely different way. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. All right. I want to keep building up this background. I don't have a proper cadmium orange, unfortunately. See, this isn't the way to do this. This is not the way to do this, but I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, I do not have a proper cadmium orange, which means that this is going to be very weird when it mixes in. Yeah. But you've heard me say this a lot. A lot of times I'm doing these as kind of a study, just to kind of see what's happening. That's why I'm working on the smaller scales. I'm going to be doing a new study for a new painting over on my Patreon. I'm working on a couple right now, and this was just a mistake. I see it. There we go. Yep. And we'll just see if we can't pull this in here. So if you're interested in following along on something that maybe a little more accurate than this. Oh, see, that's the other thing. I'm using these bright colors. I have not properly, I haven't properly mixed these down yet for the tones there. Like these in theory, I should be doing these with a little touch of blue. As you can see, it's just like streaking all out. Now I have a alizarin. I'm gonna go with my alizarin crimson here for the for this layer. And I'm going to use that because this is going to affect some of the foreground and this over here. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like how any of this is going down. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm hating it. It's gross and gross. Hey, Tony Lees, just subscribe. Welcome aboard. Hey, happy Friday. And happy Space Art Friday. I want some more orange. Permanent orange. I mispurchased, unfortunately. That's all right. We'll make it work. Ba-boom. Can you up the volume a little? Yeah, sure. There you go. How loud do you want it? There we go. It ends well. That's all I'll say. Yeah. I'm on season 3 of Falling Skies. Oh, cool. Awesome. First run, though. I have no idea how it ends. Oh, I see. And then Rhonda, you've seen Falling Skies. Cool. Awesome. I have not seen Falling Skies yet. I've also heard good things. Yes. Rhonda says it ends well, which is good to hear. All right, let's see if I can't clean some of this up. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this one off. This one I'm worried about, folks. This one I have a genuine fear is going to be the one that it's like, nope, that was not the way to go, Mr. Doll. And I'm not really using any of my solvent on this, so that could be part of my problem. Forgetting to use the solvent. And a brush that's overloaded with all 5 colors that I've just been using. So yeah, my oil paint foo could use a little help for sure. We'll get there. We'll get there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. What are you talking about? It'll be fine. Oh, laptop has miserable sound. Yeah, there we go. I sometimes let the the microphone sometimes gets a little far away from me too. So it is not all you, I promise. And there's an understanding of that. So there we go. All right. Let's see if I can't. Oh, look at that. Maybe I should use a different brush for this. Yeah. Well, we'll see. No, this is perfect. Oh, this is good. This is going to be I think this is going to be where my desert color comes from now. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, I just totally turned it into a green-gray mass. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, awesome. Just what we needed. Although that is kind of the color. Interesting. All right, I have now committed this brush to being the sand brush only. Oh, that's the darker of the 2 colors, and then there's going to be a lighter one. There we go. Yeah, cool. That's a pretty good color for that, though. As he accidentally goes through it. All right, let's try a little bit more of my solvent on here. Oh, look at how management of the paint here, not so great. There we go. I mean, yeah, I am saving. I am saving the what do you call it? Saving these paintings just for all of you. The ones that are basically test paintings. Yeah, these are just the ones I'm saving for all of you. You guys get to watch my tests. The test subjects. You're my guinea pigs, right? There we go. Yeah, there we are. And for that, I appreciate it. Hey, Wes is here. How you doing, Wes? Happy Friday. Greetings, greetings. Good to see ya. Hello. It's like we got the whole crowd here. This is great. Yeah. We are back. We are back, folks. 100%. All right. I always have to throw a brush to a point where it just heads on over to right into my paint, my wet paint. All right. Hang on a second here. I'm grabbing a different brush here. Hey, hey. I'm going to see if I can grab some of this. The kind of, it's a little bit, I always think of, it feels like you're painting with melted butter, right? Oil paints, right? So there you go. All right, that's it. There you go. Boom, ba-dum, boom. But yeah, news for the week. I'm about ready to be, I'm going to be a bachelor for the next few days. Stephanie's heading out of town, which is pretty cool. She needs a little time off. So I'm going to be just kind of at home, keeping the cats fed, keeping the litter boxes cleaned, keeping everybody happy and alive. That'll be good. Nah, she needs a good time off. It's going to be cool. But we have one car, so when one of us leaves, the other one is pretty much like, yep, I'm here at the house. So yeah, there we go. It'll be a fun time. Sad I'm not going with her, but you know, that's life, right? Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get back to having real ones, real vacations, right? All right. And by dragging this on through, I'm going to be contaminating the brush like nobody's business. All right, here we go. Don't grab the red. Don't do that. Excited about a package arriving from Australia. What you getting from Australia? Did you order a car? No, I'm just kidding. Falcon X1, Falcon XB, not X1, XB. That's super cool. All right, what am I going to need here? All right, I'm going to actually mix up a sky paint. I'm now getting covered. This is why I should have kept the damn gloves on. I'm going to just remove this from the equation. Thank you. All right, there we go. Oh, hey, lady just got back. Very cool. Alrighty, folks. Not a roo. Not a roo. We won't be importing such animals. Okay, let me move this back over here. I'm going to see if I can't mix up. I need a darker sky color than what I've got here. So I'm going to do a little bit of blue. I'm actually going to mix a color here. And I'm going to get a little bit of this burnt umber. Some of my... might get a little contamination in there, but I just needed a nice darker, maybe a little touch of cadmium red in there, just to brighten that up a touch. Oh, that brightened it up. I'm mixing paint perilously close to brighter colors, but I do feel like this is one of those colors. Yeah, there we go. I think that's it. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's see. Grab my scrubby brush again. All right, let's see if I can't. More liquid. I need more of my solvent. There, that's about right. Solvent-free solvent, right? After many years of waiting, I ordered an EchoFix EFX3, an analog tape delay. Oh my god. And a real spring reverb. Oh, that is so... That's so fun. Oh my god. All right. Well, we're expecting fun things, okay? I tell ya. There we go. That's really cool, Wes. No, that's seriously very cool. And they're covering the tariffs. Perfect. Even better. All right. So they're doing this as tonal studies, and I am going to do this as tonal studies. I'm going to keep adding to my rocks. I used to have a Roland RE201 Space Echo back in 1990, but it was always breaking down, and eventually you sold it off. Isn't that annoying? You know, you get something that you think is going to just be like the cat's meow, and then it just keeps breaking down. I feel that pain. I feel like when some of you who followed along for a while remember I used to have a large format printer, right? And I was doing my own prints with it, which is great. But I got to tell you, that was one of the most miserable experiences. Maintaining that thing was so annoying, so annoying. I lost all taste for even trying to keep up a printer like that. That was absurd. I hated it, folks. All right, I don't want to use that one because that one's too there. There we go. This one's okay, and this one's okay. This one's a little softer. All right, I'm going to see what I can do. It's a really gigantic brush, but I just want to see if I can get let's do it out away from this paint, shall we? Right. Moving this out. Excuse me. All right, there we go. And it's cool looking. Yeah, I bet. Does it have the... It's got to have like the good buttons on it too. All right, let me see if I can pull this off, right? There we go. Okay, so I feel like I'm in the ballpark of where I wanted to go with this, right? In the ballpark. Yeah, we'll get there. All right, now. Yeah, it's a little shiny, right? You can see that it's got a little shine to it, but and if I grab this, oh my gosh, yeah, you'll see that it's got just a little shine. So we're very wet, but I think we're in the ballpark of where I'm going with where I wanted to go with this. Problem is with these wet paints like this, I always get down to the point where I'm doing detail, and that's what really throws me. That's where you really have to thin the paint down and really hope for the best. So with that in mind, let me grab. I'm just making some room here because I'm running out of it. So there we go. Pull my palette back up here. Thank you all. And I'm going to do another sky color, or not a sky color. I need another mountain color, and it's going to be similar to this one. I want that. Kind of similar to that. A little bit of this. Oh, yeah, and a little touch of the orange, too. I forgot about that. We're going to do a little bit. Actually, I could probably use this orange. There we go. Yeah. There's a trick here I'm going to be doing that I noticed in the painting itself. It needs to be a little darker than that, or a little more orange, a little touch of yellow. Let's do that. Yeah, needs a little more chromic power. Yeah, there we go. Getting there. Yeah. Kind of creamsicle-ish, right? Yeah, I think that's it. We're getting in there. Now I want this a touch darker. I'm going to go with that. There we go. I can still tell that I am personally uncomfortable with the oil paints, and that's part of the reason why I've been working with them so much. Is I'm trying to sort of swing. I need to do. I need the oil paints for a couple of projects, and so you. This happens with me on the stream. If I need to work in a medium and I haven't worked at it in a while, guess who gets to see the practice? You guys and ladies. Thank you. I like to splash the drops of thinner, then lightly brush to get random texture. Oh yes, absolutely. I've been avoiding the thinners to do it. That's another one. I probably should have some thinner out just for that, because when you get it thinner, that's when it runs nicely across whatever you're working on. Part of this is supposed to act like a thinner, and honestly, it does. I'm going to say it not quite as well, I think, as Liquin does, because Liquin has a solvent. So I'm going to see if I can't make this work, though. All right, there we go. There we are. Got a little bit more paint. Oh, you see? I mean, you mean like splash the drops of thinner on the? Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, totally. Now we're going to get painterly into this a bit. I didn't want to really mix with that, but it's gonna happen. Ba-ba-da-boom. There were 2 peaks here. I'm gonna get the second one. This is painfully bad, folks. This is so bad. I'm getting frustrated with it. I am really frustrated with it, but yeah, I know what I did wrong. I know what I did. I know what I did. I know what I did wrong. Yeah, well, it's all in the setup, and I just basically have a setup that's going to. My grandmother called oils like painting with mayonnaise. Yeah, basically that's effectively what's happening here, and I'm not liking how this is going on at all. I don't like it, not in the slightest. Yes. Well, especially when you don't approach it with a methodology, and that's kind of what's happening to me. Like right now, I should be going thick. Well, I shouldn't be going thick. I shouldn't even be defining these details this way, right? Just hit Control Z. Yeah, exactly right. But there are opportunities for some fun things, so I'm not going to let this get me down. It's just that you run into stuff where it's just like crap, and I'm not going to have I have a picture in my mind and it's not it, and I just get annoyed. So we'll make it work. We're gonna work with it. We're gonna go with it. I don't care. I'm just gonna do it anyway. There, that's what we're gonna do. But again, yeah. Make it work with what you've got. Since we're painting with mayonnaise, wet mayonnaise, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's too thick. So now that I have some on here, I'm just gonna have some fun with it. Is what I'm gonna do. I think this side needs to be a little bit darker. There we go. Yeah, and then that's way too dark. So, but that'll mix in nicely from there, and that'll be from there like that. Yeah, we're getting there. I think we can make this work. You can also just use a towel or sponge to pull the initial rock shapes. Yeah, exactly. I'm there, when you do that, you're kind of committed. So I am kind of waiting to see what I come up with. Besides, I got a pretty stiff brush here, so I'm just gonna work it and see what I actually come up with. The embarrassing part to me is I'm doing this live in front of people who sometimes people know what the hell they're doing, and it ain't me. So yeah. Anyway, we're just gonna we'll have fun with it. Just gonna be annoyed. All right. Annoyed, then not. All right. Annoyed, and then not. Cool. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm finding a couple of things. I don't like working in this small scale. I feel like there's the reason why I keep forcing myself to do it. One, I have the canvases, and two, I like the discomfort of being in front of everybody here. This is just pissing me off though. Okay, hold on. I don't like it that much. Yeah, there we go. I also don't like just accidentally running my brush against the handle of my camera thing. Here we go. There we are. Adding a touch of, just a touch of my thinner. Let's see if I can get some of what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, there we go. It's coming along. I like the color. Thank you very much. I agree. I'm not completely down on it. I just you try to be the hero and not the loser. And I feel like I'm borderline. Borderline. Anyway. Oh, but I'm not going to leave the lid open. That's just dumb. There we go. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum. All right, let's grab a little bit of this. So kind of get into the swing of it. We'll be recovering nicely, right? There we are. So Dune, yes. So Dune, and Dune. We've also had the preview for Dune 3, and speaking of controversial movies, I know there's a lot of people that have been very frustrated with the Denis Villeneuve Dune treatment, and like with the other shows, I feel like there's pluses and minuses as well to those movies. I can't bring myself to despise them, even though they have disappointed me on a couple of areas, and that's frustrating. But there we go. Oh no! I grabbed a thing. I grabbed a piece of paint. I'm curious to see where they go with it. I'm curious to see where he takes his version, Denis Villeneuve, and everyone involved. I'm curious where they take this flavor of Dune in the third movie, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt to do that. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of feelings about that too, and about the Dune movies. What I find curious is similar to what we were talking about earlier with regards to like Deep Space Nine, and there's a cat hair in the middle of my Dune scene. Imagine that, and it created a wisp. Yeah, great. Much like Deep Space Nine, Star Trek: Next Generation, when they first came out, there was yeah. Anyway, it felt to me like the David Lynch Dune movie was a similar situation where when it first came out, it was like, what? Even myself, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the David Lynch movie quite a bit, but recognizing that it has faults and flaws. And for years I feel like that was kind of the way it was viewed. But I'm finding that now that Denis Villeneuve is jumping into the mix here a little bit, there's been a little bit of a there's been a retroactive love for the David Lynch movies. Painting with mayonnaise, exactly right. If you view it as not having read the books, they are good. And you're right. You're right, Hugh Bob. That's the thing. If I view any attempt at filmed Dune as anything other than just like an interpretation, right? They're never going to be what I would expect to see or view. And you know that ultimately they're going to be an interpretation. There's no getting around that, right? So I guess to a certain extent, I take it as all right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. So we're going in. That's all right. Because really, I don't think I would be satisfied with a Dune that wasn't made entirely by me, for me, with my own interpretation of the events. And it is definitely it's an interpretation by somebody that had a chance to get in and really and give it a go. So yeah. I heard they're coming up with a Lord of the Rings sequel. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about either. There's a couple of Stephen Colbert, I guess, is one of the people that has been tapped to do the writing on it, which is very, very interesting. That is a very bright sunset right there, by the way. And then there's a Gollum. There's a Gollum movie involved, I think, and so I think they're kind of going Marvel Universe with it, where they're just kind of taking some scenes and working on it, working it into the mix. Or I don't know if they're new stories or if they're interpretations of stories that were in something like the Silmarillion. I don't remember, but yeah. Anyway, even when I read the books, even when I read the books, I look at the movies series as an alternate version. I think you definitely have to. When I put on the aura, if you will, the persona of somebody who desperately wants to see the Dune series treated the way I perceive them to be treated and read and the way I read them. Shit. I get annoyed. I get annoyed with decisions that they made for these Dune movies, and I feel like to a certain degree there's a little bit of a missed opportunity because of all the money that went into it. Oh my gosh, and they didn't do this, and they didn't do this, and why do they treat this way? And the fact is they didn't hire me to do it. They hired Denis Villeneuve, right? I don't have high hopes. Me neither. Peter Jackson set a really high bar. Oh, for the Lord of the Rings, yeah. And to those, even when they approached doing The Hobbit as 3 movies, I mean, come on, that's absurd. I felt that was absurd. The book does not support it, and as it turns out, that's exactly what they felt too. So anyway, yeah, good times. Peter Jackson set a really high bar. I completely agree. Yeah, set a very high bar. Just want to hint in some clouds as if this is actually happening in a real scene. So I'm not going to be doing much more in terms of that stuff. Oh, this is such a bright. I think I'm going to leave it this bright here, but I will probably go over that one after this dries. I feel like most of these paintings deserve an attempt. Even these ones right here. There we go. This, that. I'm trying to get a brighter color, and I'm not having any luck with it. There we are. But yeah, now that I'm done with Deep Space Nine, I'm kind of bugged. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. I was thinking about going back and rewatching Space 1999, get out of the Trek universe a little bit. I just kind of watched it last summer. I don't know. I might not even watch anything. I might just go to podcasts and some other things. We'll see. All right. HBO's doing a Harry Potter. It hasn't been that long, right? Yeah, I'm with Rhonda. Yeah, sick of remakes. Yeah, totally. I was just saying I was late to the news that I'd heard that they were redoing the Harry Potter stuff for whatever damn reason, for Harry Potter: The Search for More Money, which is exactly what it is. And yeah, I agree. I don't see the appeal. I'm kind of sick of that as well. You started rewatching The Expanse. Oh, very cool. That's one I should probably track down as well. Honestly, that's a good show. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get in a hint of some dunes. Do you want some dunes in your dune painting? Yes, I would like some hints of dunes in my dune painting. Thank you. Yes. There we go. Some hint of it. Yeah, this is very much like, as you say, painting with mayonnaise. Exactly. Frack me. Right? There we go. Gonna go a little heavy-handed with it there. And you know that painting that I showed that's actually a book cover is probably about 3 times the size of this. So there was actually a little more opportunity to get some of that stuff right. There we go. All right. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not feeling it, folks. I'm not feeling this painting. Annoyed. Remulac. Like what? Coneheads when they're annoyed. Did they ever mention DS9 and Picard? I would be on board for a Cisco returns. What there was like a what was it? They didn't visit DS9, but I think there was some discussion of it. Yeah. I think so. I can't remember what they did though. Might be interesting to do a painting with actual mayo, ketchup, and mustard. And that I will be doing on top of an actual burger. Yes. The other art form in our house. We'll take them on as burgers. Exactly. I'm in. I'm totally in. All right. Well, I have to say I'm some of these paintings I'm never quite as fond of, and this one's kind of one of them. It was fun, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. So this one might just end up getting painted over. Oh my god, I'm making it worse. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Right. This could also be the insomnia catching up with me. I don't know. Massive insomnia this week. Yeah, so such fun. I'm gonna tone it down. I'm just gonna tone the whole thing down. There we go. Yeah, that's better. We'll give it that. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's what it needed to do. I just needed to tone everything down, and now I'm gonna have mountains in the background that I didn't expect. So there we are. Okay, cool. All right. Oh my god. All right. 25 years. Oh, 25 years. Oh, Deep Space Nine. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. I have never managed to finish The Expanse. I have no idea why. I seem to get to a point and forget to keep watching. This happened 3 times. Well, it's definitely it's kind of got its own thing going on. Yeah. Also subject to a few permutations of quality and mood. No, it stayed high quality, but I feel like the pacing sometimes was a little tricky. Yeah. But I don't think so getting back to the Picard and Deep Space Nine, I I don't imagine they're ever going to revisit the Cisco character. As I understand it, Avery Brooks' health is a little bit of a concern, and I don't think they have any interest in recasting him. So, and I don't blame them at all. But yeah. Oh boy! All right. So, folks, this is going to be a short stream this week because we have to take care of some matters before Stephanie steps out. So I am going to just kind of leave you with this one here this week. We will be having the live stream on Sunday, the Patreon live stream, and obviously I will be back next week. But I'm going to leave this one here. As if I do anything to this, I feel like I'm just going to mess it up, and I don't really want to do that. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at this one. I'm still waiting for someone to make Rendezvous with Rama. But then again, if they F it up, so who's got that? Somebody's working on that, and it is proceeding. Was it Ben Stiller? Oh, I know who had it. Of all people, Morgan Freeman, I think, was attached to a production of that. Yeah. I would like to see that too. Oh, and I'm hearing good things about Project Hail Mary. I have the book, haven't read it. I'm probably going to read it before taking off to see the movie. My daughter went and saw it, and she read the book, and I'm hearing generally that is quite the book or the movie. So that may be the new one. Yeah. All right, everyone. I'm gonna sign off here. I know it's quick this week. It was Morgan Freeman. That was more than a decade ago. I thought that maybe something was going on with that. I'm not sure, but yeah. All right. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna get out. We gotta do some grocery shopping and a few other things. Thank you very much for sticking around this week. We will be back, and we will catch you all next time. Peace out, everyone. This painting's missing Space Frog and Space Pig. It is. I know. I have to come back and do some more Space Frog and Space Pig paintings. Yes, I'm remiss on that. Thank you, everyone. We will catch you all next week. Cheers.
All right. So I've taken my white paint with my little fan brush here, and let's just see how crazy this goes. This is where I throw paint everywhere. that just kind of gives it an air of legitimacy that it doesn't deserve. You know?
I have Bob Ross the shit out of this painting.